Hey, what's up YouTube? This is Swiss Army Dan coming at you with another Swiss Army knife video. Today I just wanted to talk about this 93mm 2-layer Alox model that we know so well. And I guess it's all really based off this Pioneer. And so I just kind of wanted to talk about some of the different variations of this guy that you'll find. And, there's so many different ones. These aren't all of the different variations, of course, but it's quite a few just to kind of show you some of the variations here. So back in 1957, they introduced these Alox scales. And the very first Alox, I'd say from 57 to 61, had a little cutout here like you'll see on the vintage Celador for the awl, which is kind of cool. But then they ended up going with this style, and it really hasn't changed. And you can still get the modern Pioneers, and it's still that same tool configuration. There's been a couple changes in the way they make these tools. Maybe we'll get to some of those, but basically all the same knife. It's also been referred to as the Sturdy Boy. I think that was an American market thing. But so it was such a cool design that the Swiss military adopted that from their old style, the 1951 version of their knives, and started making them like this. This is a 77. This is the last year they made them in this style here with this kind of cross on it. It's pretty cool, huh? And they had the hollow rivet at that point. It looks like this has maybe brass liners. No, they're probably nickel silver liners on there. I'm not an expert on the liners, but that's a good way to date them too. So then they changed over to this design here. And the Waffenkontrolle stamp, while it was right on the cross on these, they have a little plate for it down here. They still had a hollow rivet at this point. They made them like this from, the second half of 77, pretty much until the end. But there's different little versions, where they're going to take this off and this will turn into a solid rivet, and we'll get to that. This is an 81 here. And one thing, on these older versions, the tools aren't really polished. They're where'd it go? There we go. They've got more of a grind on here in this sharpened wire scraper. It stayed like that for a while, but you'll see here. I'll grab a modern bottle opener here, and you see the difference there. Number one, it's just a lot thicker tool. Look how much thicker they used to be, and you see the difference in the grind, the finish there. So same thing with the can opener. I think you'll find that the old can opener is a little bit thicker. Not as much of a difference as on the cap lifter, but still pretty big difference. So yeah, I've got these in kind of chronological order here. So I think this is probably a early 80s Pioneer, and they stayed looking like this pretty much up until about 99. They changed to these brass liners, I think, to a nickel silver liner instead of the brass around 86, if I'm not mistaken. And the pre-71 ones will have a Swiss pat here on the can opener. Next is 88 Wenger. And Wenger's come available with this bail. There's some older Vics that have a bail, but typically Vic did not have a bail on their soldiers. I've seen some of this style Vics with a bail. But again, the same tool set. It doesn't really change from that 81. The It looks like this one is a little bit shinier than the 81. It's not like a grind like that. And this is pretty much the last year they made it with the hollow rivet. This is a 93. After that they have the 94 version, which turns into a solid rivet. This one still has the thicker tools and the scraper there, but you'll see this is a little bit polished. It's not like grind like those older ones. Then this is the Dutch Army knife. I think they made them for the Dutch Army, the Alox Old Cross kind of pioneer model like this. I think from what, 85 to maybe 83 to 92 or 3. Don't quote me on that. But this is one of those. They're beautiful knives. Really nice. It's got the key ring on it. The soldiers typically didn't have key rings, but they did make some from around, this is a 94, from around 94 up until 2000, from what I understand. So this is probably the first year that you could get one with a key ring here in this 94. And then here's the final version of the soldier. This is a 03. And then Wenger kept making them after, 08, when they went to the newer 111mm model. But they stopped stamping them after that. This is one at EDC. I really like this with the bell and the little pocket clip there. I dig carrying that one. And then here's a newer Pioneer. This is a medium gray Pioneer. And the tools have gotten a little bit thinner over the ages and are more polished. And I got one of these Nespresso Pioneers, and this is kind of interesting because it doesn't have the key ring on it. But really nice color on that. Alright. So yeah, just kind of want to talk about these Pioneer-based kind of knives and how many variations there are. Pretty cool. I appreciate you guys watching. Be kind to each other. Swiss Army Dan's out of here.